Hi everyone, let's catch up now with what happens next on the Bitcoin market. Today is the 6th of July 2025 and I'm recording this video at 1624 UTC. So these are the fractals that I posted in my latest video. Just a quick recap of what we covered in the latest video. I made several predictions in that video. Prediction number one was that the 1st of July will be a local bottom. That is what happened. Prediction number two was that the 2nd of July will be higher. This is what happened. Prediction number three was that the 3rd of July will be higher. That is what happened exactly. Prediction number four was that the 4th of July will be higher. That is not what happened. It dumped. Prediction number five was that the 5th of July will be higher. It closed on a green. That is what happened. Prediction number six is that the 6th of July will be higher. And that is what happened and closed on green. So overall, from those 6 predictions that I made in for that week, 5 are correct and 1 is wrong. The 4th of July was wrong, the other ones are correct. If you don't believe me, just watch the video and you will see every single daily time frame I commented on, how I expect it to close, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, and now also, if you recall, the reason actually for this video is that last time I said that the 7th is expected to be lower on several fractals, and now I'm updating you that I actually have changed bias for the 7th. I'm expecting now that the 7th actually may produce higher. So first of all, let's see the foundation for that prediction that the 7th of July is expected to be lower. So that is the top fractal here. It showed 7th of July to be lower, and then the Venus fractal showed 7th of July to be lower as well, and then this green fractal. So the majority of the fractals were showing lower, and they still are, and for that reason I said I expect it to be lower. Only the minority of the fractals, only 2 fractals are showing 7th of July to be higher. So why am I changing bias now for the 7th of July? Is that we have 2 bull aspects tomorrow, the 7th of July. And both of them are with a slow planet, and when the aspects are with a slow planet, they tend to be more influential. So in the morning of the 7th of July at 0843 UTC, we have Venus trining Pluto. I mean, that is one of the queens of bullish aspects. So the probability of a green closure on the day is 59%. And also the probability of a uptrend before the event is 62%, which is providing an additional confluence for the forecast for the 6th of July. That it was going to be green. So trend before 62% green, and the daily closure is 59% green. And then in the evening we have another bull aspect, which is Mercury square Black Moon Lilith, and again the probability of look, the trend before 64% green uptrend before the event, and then the daily closure is even higher here. It's 64% higher daily closure. So based on that, based on these 2 bull aspects, I changed my bias for the 7th. Now let's examine in the daily time frames if there is anything that can add any confluences. So historically, the 7th of July has closed on a red with a 53% probability, which is almost 50-50, so it's not a big deal. What else has happened historically? I have my own system here that has extracted various cycles, but they're not cycles that coincide to the date. So There is a historical pump here for the 7th of July. It's not a 360-degree cycle, by the way, so don't interpret that sometime in the past the 7th of July has pumped. No, it's not like that. It's a different type of a cycle. So we have a cycle here for 7th of July to be pumping. We have the Chinese cycle. It's a different Chinese cycle, not the one that I showed you here, not the green fractal, but it's a different one. It's a daily time frame Chinese cycle. It's closing on a green with 60% accuracy. That is quite high. It's quite extraordinary, actually high. And the reason for this is because to my memory, the 7th of July is the day of the ox. 1 second, I believe it's the day of the fire ox. Yeah, it's the fire ox on the 7th of July, and the ox is a very good cycle for Bitcoin, by the way. It's a nobleman. The ox is a nobleman of Bitcoin. So those of you who have had the personal financial forecast done, you know how important the nobleman is. The nobleman is quite supportive. So highly unlikely Bitcoin to dump on the day of the nobleman. Nothing is impossible. But now the energy is kind of favoring more a green closure of the day. Then we're moving on to the eclipse cycles, mixed forecast here. The general eclipse cycle is giving us 50-50 almost, and then the partial solar eclipse is very negative for the 7th of July, so I can smell volatility here. And tomorrow Uranus is entering Gemini, so we don't know what will happen actually, because we have never seen Uranus entering Gemini in Bitcoin's life before. In fact, in our own lives, unless you're 84 years old. Only people who are 84 years old, they have seen that before. So, how about the gun dates? Let's see what the gun dates. Well, the gun dates are saying that today is actually the bottom, the bottom of a very big cycle. So we always expect a bit of a reaction to that. So if today is the bottom, we expect a bit of a reaction. The next day will be higher, and then another cycle comes. And then other bottoms may be done later on, but for now, after this cycle bottoming, we can expect, we will be reasonable to expect that at least for one day there will be a bounce after that. What is that on the 10th of July? I'm getting distracted now. Yeah, so we may make another bottom actually on the 10th of July, but for now we're forecasting the 7th, so for now we're heading up. We expect a bit of a reaction to that local bottom there that is given. So 7th of July, in terms of other events, yes, Bitcoin Chandrashtama is ending on the 6th. So again, we're expecting a bit of a reaction from that. Anything else that is happening? Okay, so the only red aspect that you see here, Mercury square Black Moon Lilith, traditionally squares red, that's why I have given it a red color, but as I said, I've already back tested it and the results are 64% probability of closing on green. So everything else is actually positive. Venus is trining Pluto, making a lovely aspect. Mars is sextiling Black Moon Lilith. So Black Moon Lilith is very well supported. She's very influential on the Bitcoin market, by the way. And I'm the first one who started researching Black Moon Lilith for the Bitcoin market. And now I see Andrea Tomoyaga suddenly started using Bitcoin. That woman is constantly scanning my forecasts for ideas because she's constantly running out of her own ideas what to research. Suddenly she's talking about Black Moon Lilith. She never discussed Black Moon Lilith before I started discussing Black Moon Lilith. Anyway, she's too dumb to be able to synthesize information anyway, because anyone can research any one cycle individually, but what I'm doing here, researching all the cycles, it's requires a totally different level of skill to be able to synthesize all of that information. In terms of lunar aspects, all my lunar aspects for tomorrow are green, apart from at 9 o'clock we have Moon squaring Mars. That's really bad. So we'll see. My bias is changed now. My bias has changed to a green closure tomorrow. But as I said, we have one element that we cannot analyze, and that is a very big element for tomorrow, that Uranus is entering Gemini. So we actually don't know. We have no historical reference how that will impact the Bitcoin market. So these two aspects are performing well. Both of them are stating bullish closures for tomorrow. And then on weekly time frames, my subscribers have already been informed that I expect a green closure. Actually, I made that forecast to you guys in the video as well. So let me show you my forecast for the weekly. One second. Yes. So let me show you the forecast for the weekly. So Neptune retrograde is forecasting the week to close on a green with 64% historical probability. This is one cycle that is expecting a green closure. Let me just see, there is more cycles than this. Okay, Mercury in Leo is forecasting the 10th of July to be higher than the 3rd of July with 53% historical probability. We have more cycles than this. Mars in Virgo is forecasting that the 9th of July is higher than the 2nd of July with 100% historical probability. It's quite a lot. So if the weekly time frame, now I just gave you 3 cycles that are saying that the weekly time frame should be closing on a green. Let's test Venus in Gemini is indecisive for the first week. It just says pump and dump, but the closure is 50%. So 3 out of 4 cycles are forecasting green closure of the week. So it has to come from somewhere, because if it remains on this level, second, where is the second? The second closed quite high. So how is that going to close higher if it remains? So somebody has to close higher in the next couple of days to make sure that the weekly close is higher. And the only way to do that is get the 7th to close higher. I haven't even checked the details about the 8th. Let's just play one day at a time. I find it very useful to navigate one day at a time, because at the moment now I said the 5th is a crossroad. I said the fifth will separate us from some fractals. And at the moment we still don't know on which fractal now we are. After the fifth, we don't know. We're a little bit in a unknown territory. So we used to be on this fractal, but not any longer, because the fourth was supposed to close higher and it didn't. So if the 7 closes lower, we're going back on that fractal, the top yellow fractal. But if it doesn't, which are what I expect, then it's gonna have to be this eclipse fractal. And this eclipse fractal is stopping a bit later, quite late actually. It's stopping all the way on the 14th. So we play one day at a time. We see what happens on the 7th. My bias is now green for the 7th. And then we take it from there. Keep in mind that that bad aspect between the Moon and Mars will create volatility towards the end of the day. So this is what I wanted to catch you up with, that I changed my bias for the 7th of July. And after that, we'll see how it closes, and then we will know whether the weekly has closed on a green or what has happened. By the way, I don't count the weeks from 1st to 7th. I count the weeks from the ingresses of the planets. So the forecast was that the 9th will be higher than the 2nd. So that is the forecast that I'm holding in my mind, that the 9th is higher than the 2nd. And that was given by Mars with 100% historical probability. So I can only go by historical probabilities. It doesn't have to be logical. It doesn't have to make sense. It just, we have 3 cycles there that made forecast that week will be closing higher than the previous few days. So that is why I have to stick with it. Okay, bye for now. I'll be back in touch with you as soon as tomorrow closes.